That's what it is. It's your girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon, the Draw My Life prison wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping to see justice before all fades to black. Yeah, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, coming through at the end of November the 4th. Tired, just got off of work. So I started a subtopic before I went to work today, which I'm dealing with the cycles in my life. And the first few videos had to deal with the broken cycle of basically relationships in my life. I'm an empath, and I am a person that wants to fix and help everybody. But with the people to fix and help, I have forgotten about myself. I leave myself to very last, and that's a big part of the reason why I'm so behind in my life. Okay, I talked about that cycle. I just introduced a new part to the cycle. See, I'm in several cycles, several bad habits that just keep going and going and going and never break. So I've started focusing in on the cycle of working. Working for me has become one of the biggest challenges in my life. Besides, I'm going to say the challenge of fighting for a husband who's wrongfully convicted. That's the biggest. That's been the biggest, longest battle in my life. But besides that, the biggest, longest battle runner-up would be my job, working. And I think the reason why it is so tough for me is because I'm not even meant to be a worker like that. I am a creative. I am an artist. And then people want to wonder why artists go crazy. I'm telling you why they go crazy. Because they are something, but they're living as something else. So to explain, if I were basically, I don't know, let's say I was a swan, but I had to live as a chicken. But I know I'm a swan. I know that I have the beautiful flowers. I know that I can float on the lake, and I know that I can do all these things. But yet I live as a chicken, and I just walk around a chicken coop. I'm going to be very unhappy as the swan in the chicken coop. I ain't even going to be able to take that because, number one, I know this is not my purpose. I'm a swan. I'm supposed to be in the lake. I'm supposed to be chilling. Supposed to be floating. Supposed to be beautiful, just out there on the lake. But yet I'm here in a chicken coop. So that's one of the biggest part of why working for me doesn't work. I'm not meant to be a 9-to-5 laborer. Now, there could have been a possibility that I was supposed to do that in my past because everybody has to start somewhere. But to be 20 years down the line, I'm not supposed to still be a 9-to-5 manual labor worker. So daily when I wake up and I have to go to my job, it basically makes me feel really just, it gives me a very down, drab, horrible feeling because I know that this is another day that I'm not going to be living in my purpose of creating. Now, throughout the day, I could have created something. Most likely, I did do some type of video or something like that. But it's always rushed. I gotta always hurry up because I gotta go to work. Or like tonight, I'm getting off at 10:30 at night. I get home at 11. I want to stay up and create, right? But okay, so as soon as I pulled up, I'm doing this video. By the time I probably upload and finish this video, it'll be after midnight. If I would like to work on any of my creative projects, such as painting, which I never ever get time to get into, which I'm an awesome painter. If you could see some of my artwork, matter of fact, I'll go post some of my artwork on my community tab and you can check it out. And you'll see that 9-to-5 labor is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be painting and drawing and doing art and stuff like that. So I think that's a big reason as to why it bothers me so much, because most of my time is put into work and I have very little time to put into my passions. And that really bugs the heck out of an artist. Sure, there are people that say, well, you should create just because you love it. That would be nice, but you don't have time to create if you have a 9-to-5. Because like I said before, your 9-to-5 is going to take most of your life. And it's going to leave you with very little time for everything else. Everything else has to fall in line after the 9-to-5. So for me to be able to do everything, I have to pull time from places where they're needed in other areas, but I have to pull the time to do my art from somewhere else, such as not going to bed on time. I'm going to stay up extra late so that I can work on my stuff because I went to work today and now I'm going to stay up as long as I can to work on my art projects and YouTube and all of that, right? By me staying up late, it would cause me to wake up late as well. But I force myself and try to make myself get up early, though I stayed up late. So it's many times that I have gotten 5 hours of sleep. 5 hours is usually my regular. I've gotten 4 hours of sleep. I've gotten 3 hours of sleep. That's really, really staying up late and really, really getting up early. I did that a lot when I was in college because projects due in the morning. You stay up so late. Any bit of work you put on a project, them hours just go like this. And then like you seen before when I was trying to do my cosmetology renewal, the computer likes to shut down. It feels like the devil just takes a hold of my computer, and whatever I'm trying to do, he'll find a way to stall it. So I can't just do it and get it done. It has to take much longer, a longer time frame than I would have thought it would have. So you're taking time from other places. So where am I taking this extra time from? Most time from sleep. And I would say self-care. Self-care can include what? Self-care can include keeping your hair done, which I mentioned when I was in hair school. I used to change my hair every other day. One hair out of place, it was all getting done over. I used to do my own nails and the nail extensions and stuff. One nail chip. We finna do them all over. I was painting them every other day, kept my feet together. I was always getting new clothes, new heels. I used to have a shoe. Boy, I used to love shoes. I used to love different heels and everything. As you can see, That's not me anymore. I rarely do my hair, like as in styling it. I'm always pushing it up, putting some type of scarf on it and going. I rarely get my clothes together, like outfits really nice. I'm just throwing on the first clothes I can find. I'm rarely getting 8 hours of sleep. Hardly ever. I'm rarely taking time to do certain things. I'm running from one task to the next. So it's basically like cramming more things into the same amount of time. Seeing how many things I can cram into a day. And it starts from being up early in the morning to way late at night, just doing as much and everything that you can do. So my first cycle that I feel like I was stuck in, I think would have been around 2003 or 4-ish when I first started cosmetology school. And to explain that cycle, I was working overnight at a super center. I did that from 11 p.m. to, no, I'm sorry, it was 10 p.m. But I think somehow I got them to back it up to 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. When I would get off at 7 a.m., I would drive home. It would take me maybe 20 minutes to get home. So now by this time it's like 7:30, going on 8, depending on the traffic. I would creep in the door and I would lay down, making a pallet on the floor. I would put my daughter like next to me, and when she would sleep, whenever she did wake up, she would just kind of crawl around me. And I would get a cat nap until she woke up, which was usually, since she slept through the night with my parents, usually about an hour and a half to 2 hours. That's all that I would get of sleep. Then I would get up. I didn't have, at first we had a babysitter for my daughter, but when her father was wrongfully convicted and taken from the house, I couldn't afford daycare anymore because I barely made anything. I made like $7 an hour, I think, at that time. And that wasn't enough to pay daycare. So what I had to do was take our daughter out of daycare, and I had to keep her during the day. And then I worked overnight. Okay, because I didn't want to just keep working, you got to find a way to get yourself out of just working. It's not a lot of ways to do it either. It's not like back in the day where you could work your way to the top of a company, which I wouldn't have wanted to do anyway, because that's just working my way higher up in a manual labor job, which is not what I want or can do because of my disabilities. You can go to school and get training, but just because you go to school and get training doesn't mean that the end of school is going to be your complete, utter success, which that has been a big problem for me as well. Finishing school, and then it's like, oh shoot, I'm done with school, but now the real hard work begins. The building your clientele, building your name, building all of those things, and those things take time. So there's a gap between finishing school and starting career successfully, like you're successfully in your career. There's a big gap between that. So I always had to do something to try to get myself out of just, and those manual labor jobs usually pay the least. So they pay you just enough, like not even enough, but just enough. So to get out of that, you have to do something more. So I tried to go to school. I was like, a cosmetologist makes way more money than I was working at the supercenter, than a supercenter worker. So I went to school during the evenings. I think it was like 5 o'clock. So during the day, when my daughter was asleep, I would get a cat nap. She'll get up for a few hours, and then she'll want to go back and take another nap. So I get a second nap. So I done worked the graveyard shift, but all day is just like an hour nap here, and then hours later, a 2-hour or so nap. And then my mother and father would get home from work in the evening. I would be ready to go to school. I would rush to school so I can get there early and I can take a nap in the parking lot before my class started. So that might be another hour nap. We had a break time during school. Sometimes I already had my food in my car with me so that I would just eat something really quick and then push my seat back and take a nap. So now we're up to 3 naps. And it's in the evening. And it's almost time to go back to work and recycle the day and do it again. So after that nap from during my break, I would rush from school to work as fast as I could so that I can catch another 40 minutes to an hour nap in the parking lot there before school starts. So now really I survived throughout my school in cosmetology school. What is that? Basically 4 different naps, an hour or so apiece. So I'm getting about 4 to 5 hours broken up. And I did that all the way through cosmetology school, which was like a year and some months. I was so exhausted. I would cry because all I wanted was a freaking nap. All I wanted was a nap. When you're tired and you cannot, that it ain't no way to shake it off. That's how I got hooked on the energy drinks and the coffee and stuff. Just trying to just stay up and trying to survive as many times. Woo. But anyways, I would say that was the first time I found myself in a cycle. Okay. After that, basically, I graduated. I kept trying to get into a salon, but the whole time that I was trying to build this career as a cosmetologist, I still had to work overnight. Once my daughter got 3, she did start going to Head Start during the day for a few hours in school. So it became a little bit easier, but it was still hard because now that she was in school, I would rush home from work, like I said before. I would be so tired. She would be playing around. Money was not the type that, okay, Money, let's get ready. And she get ready. You have to stay up. You have to watch her get ready. You have to, Money, come on. You got to put your shoes on. Money, come on now. Let's go and do this. Come on. It was a constant until she finally got dressed and ready. Every day, late, running out the door. And I'm like so tired to the point where I just really just want to drop you off and come back home and crash. Well, once I did drop her off, get through all that school traffic while you sleepier than a hibernating bear, get through all of that, get back home, when I would jump in the bed, I would find myself oversleeping because I'm completely exhausted. So you can sleep for hours and hours and hours. But I had to pick my daughter up. I can't just sleep for hours and hours and hours. And I would be so tired that I couldn't even hear the alarm going off. That's how tired I was. So it got to the point where I was like, I can't put myself in comfortable positions, because if I do, I'm going to oversleep. So it ended up where I started sleeping in a chair. I started sleeping in an upright position because it is uncomfortable. And when you're uncomfortable, it wakes you up. So you can't sleep too long in an uncomfortable position. So I can get my nap, but my body can get uncomfortable so that it wakes me up. And I jump up and check what time it is. Like, oh, shoot, time to go get money. Let me go get money. I also, through that cycle, started sleeping kneel down. Like, you know how you kneel to a bench? I would kneel and pray. I basically would kneel down to the couch. My upper body would be on the seat of the couch, and my knees would be on the ground. And I would sleep like that. So whenever I got tired, my knees started falling asleep and going numb, it would wake me up. And then I would not oversleep from picking my daughter up from school and daycare. So that became another bad cycle that I was living in. This is how I was surviving. Like, as you can see, it's not a healthy way to live or try to survive at all. But I did it. And I did it because I thought, this is hard now, but one day I won't be working like this. One day when my rap career takes off, I won't have to do this. One day when my cosmetology career takes off, I won't have to do this. One day when my art takes off, I won't have to do this. One day when this YouTube takes off, I won't have to live like this. And one day when my graphic design, when I finish school and I'm finally a graphic designer, I won't have to live like this. All of those things I did achieve, but I'm still living like this, which is the crazy part. But you think that you're going to bring yourself up. And if you don't bring yourself up, dang, it starts to feel like this is the only way it's going to be in my life. I'm going to always have to work first and then struggle to get in creative activity. Like, I don't know, it's like a moving conveyor belt or something. I'm actually getting really sleepy right now. I'm trying to finish this video. It's like a conveyor belt or a merry-go-round. You're trying to get off of that job, but it just keeps going and going and going. And it's not as easy to get off of it. If it's a conveyor belt, let's say it's a fast-moving conveyor belt, and you're trying to step off, you can lose your footing because it's going too fast. It's moving. Let's say it was a merry-go-round and you're trying to step off. When you try to step off, it's basically going to toss you off because it's moving. It keeps moving and moving and moving. And for your job, it's like you go to work, you work real hard all day, then you clock out, you come home, get a little rest, and you're right back. A lot of times it seems like I'm at my job more and I just visit my home. It actually feels as though I live at the job and I just visit home every now and then, every few hours. So I'm gonna stop there because I'm getting really sleepy. I don't want to fall asleep in this car, in this driveway, and this phone drop out my hand like that. But I did say I was going to complete this video like after I got off of work, which if I didn't have to work all day, I could have worked on my videos, but I don't have that luxury. Ooh, all right, guys. Here's your girl Cadillac.